Hello everybody, welcome back to my home. As you've guessed it from the title of this video, this is yet another room tour, or more like an area tour. For those of you who haven't seen any of my previous video or read my blog, our house is an upside down house, which means that our living space is upstairs and it's a full open plan space, which means that our kitchen, dining and sitting area are all in the same space. So first off, I want to apologize for the quality of the before picture. Those were taken from the real estate agent, and that was even before I was actually blogging, so I didn't really have that in mind when I got those. So as you can see in the before picture, the area was staged by the developer. So those were not the furniture from the previous owner, they were just staging furniture. I didn't think much about the choice of furniture, to be completely honest, but it gave me a good idea of how the space could work and where our things could go. So for this area, I really wanted to go for something kind of modern eclectic. I wanted to bring in rustic material but also modern material. I wanted to bring in quite streamlined and modern shapes and furniture items, but I also wanted to bring a little bit of vintage touch here and there. As usual, if you're interested in any of the details I'm mentioning today, there is a link in the description box below to my blog where I documented everything. And if you like a good room tour, house tour, or maybe just the sound of my voice, make sure to subscribe because I will be making more of those room tour and hopefully very soon our living room. So let me show you the space. Here is our dining space. As you can see, so you've got the kitchen over there, which I showed you last time. And so you come up from the stairs, there's the kitchen area, and then straight away we've got our dining area. So the main item, obviously, in our dining area is our dining table. And this one was actually quite difficult to find, just because I knew exactly what I wanted, and it wasn't super easy to find. So what I really wanted was a table that literally looked like it was carved from the same piece of wood. I wanted zero details on the top. I wanted it very streamlined, very simple, like really no details, which is quite challenging when you're looking for a wood table, because quite often you will find wood table which got, you know, like little inlays or things like that on the top. But we were very happy to find this one. It looks very rustic and chunky, but at the same time the shape is very modern. So it doesn't look at all out of place in our modern house. We got this table in quite an unexpected place. We got it in one of those kind of like high street shop, like Oak Furniture and Land, or like Furniture and Land, one of those, which, to be completely honest, I generally never ever shop in those, just because they really don't design things that are my style. However, I was proven wrong. Randomly, that shop was retailing another designer. I think it was a seasonal thing, so I'm not sure where you would find a table now, because that was obviously almost 3 years ago. But it shows that you should never ever really limit yourself when it comes to shopping for furniture, and you should definitely try different stores, even the one you expect the least from. Now, apart from the design, one other thing that was very important to us was to be able to extend the table. We've got the luxury of having quite a lot of space. We wanted to make sure to be able to easily fit 8 to 10 people around the table. And the way this table extends is probably the coolest feature. So as you can see now, the table can sit comfortably at least 8 people, if not 10 with a little bit of a squeeze. But what's really cool about this extension to the table is that one, it kind of almost seamlessly merged with the main table, and two, the feet of the table have moved as well, which means that people sitting here will not have their legs squeezed between the feet of the table. That it basically became a much bigger version of our normal table, which is pretty cool. Moving on to the chairs, I've got those Eames-inspired chair. I've always loved that design. I know it's a very common chair. You find it at so many interior. And to be honest, I think that's what good design is about. And that's why so many people got those chairs, just because they look good. They are comfortable and they're very low maintenance. As they are plastic, if there's any stain, you just wipe them. Obviously, the original Eames chair are retailing for around £300 plus, which was not our budget at all. So what I did is that I looked for a good dupe, and those are from Dwell. And they retail for around, I think, £50 per chair, which is a lot more reasonable, obviously. And it was a good way to balance our budget, because obviously our table actually was a real splurge. It was very expensive. So that was the item we spent money on, and these were like where we saved a little bit. And then for the end of the table chairs, so I had three things I really wanted for those. One, I wanted the mismatch effect of having those at the ends and then similar chairs on each side. Two, I wanted to make a statement, and that's where the choice of going for a transparent chair came from. And three, I really wanted like a classic design, something that reminded me of the chairs my grandparents used to have in their dining room, or like the kind of wicker chair you can find in French restaurants or French brasseries and stuff. So when looking for a transparent chair, I quickly figured out that actually we didn't want it to go for fully clear transparent, if that makes sense, just because we wanted those chairs to be quite a bit of a statement, and obviously transparent chair would barely show up against the wall over there, or even here against quite that chunky table. Instead, we went for still obviously transparent chairs, but they are in kind of that smoked color. It's kind of a charcoal gray, which means that, as you can see against the wall over there, you can still really see it popping. And these chairs are from a brand called Caligaris, which is an Italian designer brand. It wasn't a splurge, but they were definitely a lot more expensive than, let's say, the dupes we got, the Dwell chair. But we were so happy to invest in something a little bit nicer, that looked a little bit more elegant, that kind of elevated the look of the space. And as I mentioned, I wanted that design you can kind of find in like French brasseries and stuff. Funnily enough, this chair is actually named, I don't know if you can see it, is named the Parisian, La Parisienne. So it was just meant to be. Moving on to the tabletop, I've got at the moment this old tray that came from our previous apartment, and it's from Monoprix, which is a French department store. Luckily, at the time I got that tray, I didn't realize that the rest of my place would have touch of teals and turquoise, so I got quite lucky getting that one a few years back. On it, you've got that beautiful candle holder that comes from Sweden. Some of our friends who live in Stockholm got it for us as a housewarming present. And then the candlesticks, which are kind of mismatched colored, are all from Flying Tigers. I have to say, Flying Tiger is a great shop if you're looking for colored candles. They literally do pretty much any color you would wish for, like neon pinks, grays, green, name it, they probably do it. So if you're looking for colored candlestick, go there, and they're quite cheap. At the end of our table, we've got this beautiful painting that was made by my grandmother. So my grandmother is an artist, and what she's done is that for each of her grandchildren, she painted something when they were born. It was a great way to also define our dining space. Because it's fully open plan, I thought that having a painting with kind of that theme of having a meal around a table with friends was just perfect there, and I just really love the perspective of having it here. And finally, in this corner, so I had a little bit of negative space to play with. And obviously, because we can extend the table, that means we do have a spare folding chair. And I thought, how about we just keep one of them here? So at least when we extend the table, we just have to slide it in place. These are from IKEA. They came from our previous apartment. And we were lucky at the time, many years ago, to have picked the turquoise color, because again, it ties in nicely with the kitchen and all the teal details I've got in the space. I have to say, if you are looking for spare chairs that you can store away, I definitely recommend those chairs from IKEA. One, they are extremely sturdy, and two, they are actually extremely comfortable. And they don't look that bad on display. So yeah, definitely a great IKEA purchase right there. So now you've seen our dining space. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Also, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see me next time, make sure to subscribe. Bye!